Les jeux de stratégie XCOM avaient fait les beaux jours des joueurs PC des années 90 et l'année dernière, le développeur Firaxis avait réussi le pari audacieux d'en faire un remake moderne avec XCOM Enemy Unknown. À côté de cela, les plus attentifs d'entre vous doivent se souvenir de rumeurs, il y a quelques années, d'un jeu de tir situé dans le monde de XCOM.
We first showed the game at 2010 at E3, and at that point it was a first-person shooter. We did show another version of the game in 2011, and that game was a first-person, third-person hybrid.
Le jeu a donc eu un développement long et difficile. Mais maintenant, ça y est, il semble avoir trouvé sa voie définitive. Il sera entièrement à la troisième personne et situé dans le passé, à l'origine de la saga.
Well, this game is called The Bureau XCOM Declassified, and it's basically 2K Marin's imagining of the origin story of the XCOM organization as someone who had played Enemy Unknown or one of the classic XCOM games might know it. What that means is the game is set back in 1962, before there was any knowledge of aliens on Earth. It is actually very American-centric. We made a conscious decision to try to step back to the origin of XCOM, to understand how the XCOM organization would have come to be. It wasn't always a global organization, and so when we imagined that, we did imagine it starting in America. In 1962, at the start of during the Cold War and just after the Bay of Pigs happened, America was in a very paranoid mode. They were very worried about other people, other countries invading America or trying to take advantage of any weakness. And so this secret bureau was created by JFK to both investigate and cover up any possible incursions into American soil. In the course of those investigations, they found that the things that were invading were not at all of foreign origin. They weren't Soviet, they weren't even human, they were of extraterrestrial origin, and thus XCOM was born.
Le développeur a essayé de marier le système de jeu traditionnel d'XCOM, le combat stratégie au tour par tour, avec le concept du jeu de tir.
The Bureau XCOM Declassified is a third-person squad-based tactical shooter, and what the key part of gameplay is what we call battle focus mode. It allows the player to make a plan for their team in real time, to do things like specifically position your agents, to choose their targets, to choose when they'll use their abilities on the battlefield in order to have the most tactical advantage over the enemy. The battle focus mode lets you essentially be, if you'll forgive me an American football reference, the quarterback of the battlefield, where you are both calling the plays and you're telling your team what to do, but you're also in there pulling the trigger yourself.
Il faut bien réaliser que 2K Marine est un studio indépendant de Firaxis, mais cela ne veut pas dire qu'ils n'ont pas collaboré sur l'univers du jeu.
Working for 2K, we have the opportunity to collaborate with a lot of other studios, and that included Firaxis, who made Enemy Unknown. When you see our game, you'll be able to see some of the influences that we've absolutely taken from the Firaxis game, including things as simple as the UI, the shield UI that shows you where safe cover is in the game, and the damage percentages that show you how much damage you're going to do to a particular enemy. But it also extends farther than that, out into the fiction. We were able to take some enemies like the sectoids and the mutons and bring them into our game as well. So they'll be familiar to someone who's played Enemy Unknown, but in our game it takes a different twist to be playing against them yourself in real time on the battlefield.
On retrouvera aussi dans The Bureau certains éléments traditionnels de la franchise.
Well, back at the base, which is a key part of the Bureau, it's a key part of any XCOM game, you have a team of scientists that are working to research any of the abilities that the aliens happen to use in the battlefield and try to find ways to bring those tactics to the battlefield, but on XCOM's side this time. If you have for example, an engineer, over the course of time they may be able to bring additional gadgets onto the battlefield, like a mine or a turret, and that's all thanks to that team of research scientists back at the base working to turn the enemy tools against them. In the Bureau XCOM Declassified, death is permanent. If you lose one of your agents in the battlefield, you have a short chance to stabilize them, and if your team is tactically positioned, you'll probably be able to do that. But if you don't get to them in time, they will be dead and gone forever.
Le jeu est prévu pour la fin du mois d'août sur Xbox 360, PS3 et Windows. Nous aurons sûrement l'occasion de vous en reparler à la rentrée.